Starting plants in an apartment takes some creativity.
My name is Juliana, and I'm an artist, musician, and overall creative. In this video, I'm growing new seeds while exploring the feelings of stuckness in the creative process.
This soil, so it's gonna get messy, but I have these big pots, and the reason I have these big pots is because I'm growing herbs, and I want to start them off now because it's like 60 days till the first frost. And I think that I just want them to have a good base, and then like once these are all sprouted and growing, I'm going to transplant them into the outdoor garden, and then I am going to start new plants. Anyways, here I go.
I got so much energy flowing through me, in my body and in my mind, in my brain, in my face. I'm going. I'm on the edge, I'm on the edge, on the edge of time.
Packaging orders, and I have like a box with all my order packaging stuff, and I'm trying to go to the post office once a week instead of multiple times a week. I began Wonderlust Botanicals after I had received an aromatherapy perfume from my best friend for Christmas, and I carried it around with me while I traveled, and I just thought it was the best thing in the world, because it smelled amazing. And back then you didn't have phones, so you didn't really have anything to do when you're on the bus, or like when I was traveling out west, I had nothing to look at while I was just on the highway waiting to get picked up for a ride to whatever destination. So I would pull out my essential oil perfume and just like smell it, and it would just make me feel happy. And
my morning routine of peppermint tea and a little glass of psyllium husk mixed with water. Only a teaspoon though.
It feels good when you can say that you're on your 100th page and you're on chapter 8. It kind of gives you like motivation to keep going. So 1 to 2 pages if I feel inspired. Here we go. I automatically clicked onto Facebook because I'm like obsessed with distraction, and that's why I need to write a list to focus. Here, it's called self-control. It's called self-control, and you put in Facebook, and then you put distraction-free mode. So now I can't go on Facebook on my computer till 6 o'clock. So the funny thing about making plans is you have to keep them flexible, because I totally wrote out my plans. I lost them. I talked to some of my artistic mentor friends for an hour, and I got inspired to create these subscription boxes for my aromatherapy apothecary. So, and I took a nap. So now I'm gonna start like designing labels for that new project and working on my lino cutting. And if I can do like at least an hour finishing this one part of my website, then it's okay. You gotta go with the flow. You gotta make some progress every day. I already began acting on the idea I got this morning, so I totally threw out everything else I was doing to do this. I think I felt overwhelmed by everything I need to do, everything I want to do, and maybe this is what I was actually supposed to be doing. It's interesting how the universe works in your day, how the days go by, because I wasn't planning on talking to my friends and getting inspired to make this, but here I am making it, and I guess it's just going with the flow. So I'm like feeling really stuck, and I have to force myself like a lot of the times to even record music. I feel like there's just so much resistance, like especially with this thing. I need to tune it. I need to set up the microphone and plug everything in. Just so much resistance. And at this point, I'm just like waiting on like 2 session musicians and like some backup singing. And I feel that it's like out of my hands and I can't really do anything. And then I'm just wanting to like practice before I record anymore, just like little finessing of the songs. So there's just like so much resistance in making music, and I feel it's also like so expensive too, making music. I feel like I spent so much on it, and I'm just doing it out of pure passion. But I guess it's like worth it because like this album is gonna be it is already so really 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 epic. And the song that I'm doing today is Summer of Love, which is I recorded on Bandura, but I'm gonna add some more Bandura to it.
This is my second lino cutting. I have done 2 of them in the last short while. The feeling of cutting the stamp and refining it and testing it out and reconfiguring it is really, really a satisfying task, especially knowing that you can't make any mistakes because it will be permanently etched on the lino block. I love that it simplifies the art down to 2 tones, black and white. You can add more layers, but I'm really happy with this simple contrast. You can use water to transfer your image from a photocopy of your image and then outline it in pen after. I love feeling good and in the moment. This is when I get my most creative work done, when I enter the blissful flow state of infinite inspiration and I don't need anything to distract me. I'm currently in the moment. But this is not always the case. There are doubts and blocks that come up, especially in this era where you can see many other artists' work and compare them to yourself. I constantly remind myself that their work is incomparable to mine. No one can be compared to one another because no one is doing the exact same thing. Especially in my circumstance, in terms of my expression in the mediums of painting, music, film, and the artists and goods that I produce. I really can't compare myself, and it's unfair to them or myself. This is how I manage the imposter syndrome. I have been feeling stuck in terms of the pandemic and not being able to do art fairs, art shows, and take photographs of models. Taking photographs of models has been my new hobby and a really great way to meet people in my new city. And I've been really fortunate to meet some really amazing women and creatives. I'm also struggling to put together the last of my new album because I can't record session musicians in my studio. I have felt stuck, and I'm wondering if it's because I'm pushing too hard. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Maybe I am where I'm supposed to be, and it's just hard for me to see it because I have expectations and impatience. I just got to keep allowing the process to unfold instead of forcing. That's my greatest challenge. So these are the rare moments where I just like feel completely okay with being in silence, because honestly I usually need to like be listening to something and doing something and also having multitasking at the same time. And I think that's where like anxiety comes from. But I plan for this, you know, like I just want to, it takes like maybe like an hour to get into the flow, and then all of a sudden you're making some progress on some art. And they sprouted a week later, so this gives enough time, a month before I can transplant them outside during the May 2-4, which is the last frost. So this is a good celebration of Beltane, May 1st. Wow. So excited for these to really grow. It's been really awesome watching these grow over the last week. Well, I'm doing my best over here. Well, thanks for visiting me in my studio. Have a great week. See you next time.